So a few weeks back, I shared my wholly unsolicited opinion as to what Warner Brothers could do to help their Ben Affleck Batman movie not be a big smelly pile of burning garbage like all the other DC Comics movies have been so far. And while people seem to generally enjoy it, there was also a sentiment that I was somehow picking on the poor, helpless, multi-billion-dollar DC Extended Universe, and that I'd never have made a similar video related to the various Marvel movies. And the thing is, yeah, that's basically true, because you really can't. Some things are simply true. Water's wet, the Xbox One was not my wisest purchase, this man should not be president, and the Marvel Cinematic Universe is doing pretty damn well for itself. In fact, the worst thing I can really say for Marvel is that they're starting to rest a little too comfortably on their laurels, inasmuch as what started out as a bizarre, risk-taking, film-producing venture unlike anything that had been attempted with actual Hollywood money on the line in a long time has started to feel just a little bit on the risk-averse side. Call it the James Bond paradox. Hey, we built a brand name that means we can do whatever we want in these movies and they'll still make money. Oh great, so let's use that to do something totally unexpected, right? No, let's do the same thing over and over so we don't lose the brand name that we're now not going to take advantage of. Now, look, things starting to feel a little similar is sort of inevitable in a shared universe. I mean, yeah, when almost all the Avengers are in a movie, how is it not an Avengers movie exactly? That also happened in the comics. But what it also means is that if I were the guy in charge of Marvel, what I'd be thinking about going forward is diversifying. Yes, also like that, very much like that, but in this particular case, what I'm talking about is diversity of genre. See, what made the big Marvel experiment so initially exciting, and I'd argue long-term successful in the beginning, is that they radically expanded the definition of what a superhero movie, and thus the component parts of their universe, could be by establishing their characters across different genres. The techno-action franchise, cosmic fantasy franchise, monster movie, espionage spy movie, science fiction, family action comedy, gritty crime thriller, hip-hop-infused urban action drama, neo-noir, feminist detective story as pointed metaphor for sexual abuse and assault survival, NCIS, I guess, and pretty soon they'll have supernatural magic series, a teenage high school series, Afro-futurist series, and whatever the hell they decide to do with Miss Marvel. So, okay, that's a pretty good mix overall, but since elements in a melting pot will ever continue to melt, the challenge must always be to find even fresher and more unexpected ingredients to, well, to wrap around the reliable framework of a basically decent but flawed and implicitly immature man whose growth into heroism is mirrored in the transformation of a female counterpart from disapproving and vaguely maternal to romantic interest and the defeat of a villain who is an evil version of himself. Yeah. Anyway, here are the top 5 movie genres that Marvel must make, because I said so. A Western. Yeah, this one seems pretty easy, right? Marvel used to publish a ton of Western comics, and they've got a bunch of cowboy characters. According to Agent Carter, the Two-Gun Kid is already a real person who existed. The Magnificent Seven remake did pretty damn well, and people keep calling superhero movies the modern equivalent of Westerns anyway, so why the hell not? It's a fun genre, there's plenty of different angles to take, lots of room to be creative and explore. Since it'd be the Marvel West as opposed to the real thing, there'd be much less obligation to dwell on the more problematic aspects of that period if you didn't want to, and there is an audience that doesn't really care about superhero movies, but does enjoy a good cowboy movie, might as well get them. And while they shouldn't be making these decisions based on where the cameos and crossovers can fit, if that was a concern, well, shit, all the Asgard people are going to be basically the same age back then, or you could have the tertiary characters show up as their own ancestors. Wouldn't that be fun? Okay, yes, I wouldn't object to a horror superhero franchise like Ghost Rider or Blade coming back, but what I'm proposing here is that Marvel should make just a regular horror movie that happens to take place in their universe. I mean, since we've already established that demons and monsters and ghosts are running all around the place, it stands to reason some of them have got to be getting up to just regular everyday demon monster ghost stuff, right? As with the Western thing, there's a lot of material to draw from. The Marvel Comics universe is literally crawling with monsters and evil spirits and all other assorted terrors. It couldn't be that hard to pick one and have it chase people around a haunted house, or an abandoned hospital, or an asylum, or a cemetery, or a summer camp, or just the fucking woods, right? It wouldn't need to be some big epic thing to take a risk a lot of money on either. The Insidious and Conjuring movies clean up, and those don't cost a lot. And you know, since Paramount can't get their act together to make a new Jason movie, if Marvel was willing to go R-rated, they could easily grab one of their mid-tier supervillains who probably wouldn't rate a full feature, like, I don't know, Bloodshed, Digger, Hangman, Scythe, give him some teenagers to massacre, and clean the hell up, filling the slasher movie void. Hell, you know who'd be a good Survivor Girl lead for that? Darcy from the Thor movies. And you know Kat Denning must want a break from that fucking TV show, right? And you wouldn't have to explain how she knows how to handle shit. And hey, fringe benefit. If it works and people decide they really like your slasher, imagine the huge pop you're gonna get if he turns up as a henchman in one of the normal movies. Godzilla made money, Pacific Rim got a sequel, Jurassic World was massive, Marvel's got a lot of big-ass monsters of their own to play with, hell, they're building a whole giant crossover around that very premise next year, so they might as well do one of these. Seems like an easy decision to me, and you know, as protagonists go, this would be as good a place as any to put the Hulk, I guess, but on the other hand, Marvel also just dumped a bunch of time into making Devil Dinosaur relevant again, so... Okay, yes, they're about to do a whole Netflix show about a kung fu guy, fine, but you know what would probably be fun as hell also? One of those martial arts tournament movies, like Master of the Flying Guillotine, Enter the Dragon, Bloodsport, Mortal Kombat, but, you know, with Marvel stuff. I mean, the Contest of Champions trademark is just sitting there not doing anything. Now look, when these kind of movies work, they're fun because they're basically character-centric chamber pieces where each character's individual story and reason for being there can play off everyone else's, and you can cut to a fight scene whenever you want because that's what everyone in the movie came to fucking do in the first place. And also investigate arms smuggling or a drug den, or look for their missing brother, or fight the fellow combatant who killed their dad, or whatever the hell the plot ends up being. Now look, as already mentioned a few times, Marvel owns the right to a shitload of characters. Not all of them can headline a movie, but you could probably find 10 or 12 colorful or interesting enough gimmicks to fill out the also competing slots in one of these. You know, just cool one-fight cameos for guys like Tarantula, or Shatterfist, or Man Mountain Mako, or the Tiger Shark. Why not? And wouldn't it be a great place for, say, Batroc, or Madame Gao, or Agent May, or one of the Hand Ninjas, or that crazy cop guy who will probably be Nuke by then from Jessica Jones to show up, or Hawkeye, why the hell not? And as main characters go, I guess like Shang-Chi probably makes the most sense because he's the master of Kung Fu, but hey, doesn't Black Widow supposedly need a movie to herself still? Look, whatever form it ends up taking, it'd basically be Marvel writing themselves a license to double their action figure output once every 2 years, but you know you'd watch the shit out of this. Shut up! No, shut up! And think about it. Now look, I know they won't do this, but they should. And it's not just because you know Disney would love something Marvel-related they could turn into a live show at one of the parks. Here's the thing. As a theatrical dramatic format, musicals and their evolutionary predecessor opera do have a stylistic function outside of it being amusing to see familiar celebrities sing and selling a cast recording album. You can do big, arch, mythic stories with big emotions and broad ideas in utter sincerity while avoiding the problem of them not sounding naturalistic by letting the elevating effect of music and dance put the entire production into a comfortable stasis of exaggerated unreality. Or in English, if everyone's already singing and dancing, you can get away with bigger ideas, weird design choices, and the kind of unguarded, larger-than-life emotional melodrama that characterized a lot of classic superhero comics. I mean, just look at these panels. Do the staging and expressions on display here strike you as being more appropriate for realistic mumblecore naturalism, or something closer to Wagnerian operatics? Now, obviously, you couldn't decide that, like, Avengers 5 should suddenly be a musical for no reason. Like, I'd watch it, and they could probably get Joss Whedon back for that, but that'd be going too far. A Marvel musical would have to be a franchise of its own with enough internal drama and native characters to the property to get by with a minimum of cameos and broader universe reference, at least for the first one. Preferably with a setting and cast ridiculous and over-the-top enough to lend itself naturally to... Oh, well, hello there, the Inhumans. Sprawling Game of Thrones-esque palace intrigue melodrama starring a bunch of goofy-looking monster people and a main character whose power is literally his superhuman vocals. Do you guys still need a movie? Yeah. And that's the list. Do you agree, disagree, want to hear more? Say so in the comments, and please like, subscribe, and share this video. Be sure to join me again this time next week, because you know what October means.